Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. And of course, Facebook doesn't accept my live stream tonight. I don't know what's going on, ladies. I was troubleshooting. If you've ever wondered why there's a timer, the timer is for me to check those technical things, to fix things that aren't working if I can fix it. So, if you know someone that prefers to watch on Facebook, invite them to come over to YouTube. I did put a link in YouTube on Facebook in the comment section that if the live doesn't come up in the next few minutes, to just come over here to YouTube. All right, so I've done what I could do. How are you? It's been a month since we were last together, and of course, I'm always glad to be with you, ladies. We're going to talk about the year. How was 2025? It's been a rocky year for many. Lots going on in the world. We're going to talk about our quilting year. I might throw in a couple of things that were challenging for me, just to keep it real with life stuff. But with quilting, it's also been challenging because I like to challenge myself. Who likes to challenge themselves in their quilting journey? If you're artistic and you enjoy creating and pushing your creativity to the outer limits, let me know in the chat. And I am amiss for not saying hello. I got sidetracked with the tech problem. So, hello, Jacqueline. I'm so glad that you're here. Hello. And hello to Marsha. Hi, ladies. So glad that you're here. Who else is here? Miss Thomas is here. Welcome from Maryland. So glad. Is you saying you can't hear me? I cannot hear you. Oh, you hear me now. Okay, good. And Sandy, I guess, is here from Kansas. Thank you. Am I saying your name correctly? Is it Sandin or Sandy? Is that an abbreviation? I really would like to share your real name. So, ladies, 2025, it's been a jam-packed year. Jam-packed year. And like I said, like to have goals for myself personally, personal development, goals to do things around my house, in my studio. Who has those kind of goals? We may have a running list, right? A running list of things we want to accomplish. It could be cleaning up our studio, right? We have our daily to-do list, our weekly, our monthly, and then we have these big projects that maybe go across a whole year. So I wanted to reorganize my studio, but that was connected to two photographers coming to my house in March. Two photographers came because I was going to be featured in Quilt Folk magazine, which is a huge deal. So I'm a double dipper. Are you a double dipper, a multitasker that when something happens because we're short on time, you say, well, what else can I get out of this situation? A things to do list. Yes, things to do. Everything is a challenge. Yes, many things are certainly a challenge, Marcia. I'd like to maximize my time. So I think most women are that way. Would you agree that most of us are that way? We multitask, but not often doing just one thing, but doing multiple things. Like even tonight, I'm doing two things right now at this moment. I'm talking with you, but I'm also talking with ladies in the Quilt Conversations live Zoom watch party. Did you know that there was a membership that you could join? The membership opened for next year, 2026. It opened today. They are in the watch party. So we have a watch party membership where you can come early. We chatted before I came live for 30 minutes talking about what's happening, what's going on. And now those ladies are in Zoom together and they're each watching Quilt Conversations live in their home, but they're in the Zoom. And then after this is done, we get back together in the Zoom and we chat some more. So you can join that. Now, before I get off track, I made a list because I'm that way. If you haven't guessed, I'm that way. I need a list. I need to take it from here to paper. And so on this list, I wanted to talk about clarity, being clear. I can make a confession too. Okay, Sandy, yay. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing your name. I wasn't always very clear when it came to quilting. In the beginning, we're just excited to get started, to make our first quilt. And we get excited about different quilt blocks, different quilt patterns, and then we start to delve into machine quilting. And that kind of pushes our creative journey because everything is new, brand new, everything. So we have a lot to learn. So that list is always going. But after a while, once you've kind of mastered those basics, you want to do other things, right? So when I started teaching, that gave me a whole new list, a whole new list of things to learn. And I knew that in the beginning, I just let things happen. If I was invited to teach, I was invited. Just like us, we see a quilt pattern and we're like, oh, I like that. I haven't tried paper piecing before. Let me try it. We just kind of go with the flow, right? But with teaching, I couldn't always go with the flow. Eventually, I had to focus. I had to focus. And part of that focus was pushed upon me. How many of us have been challenged by circumstances to get our act together, that we can't play around anymore? And that's kind of what happened to me with COVID. COVID said, okay, you can't play at being in business. You really have to do what needs to be done so that you can earn a living. And so I had to learn very specific things to get Quilt Conversations live going, to do online classes, to do virtual teaching. So since then, to shoot more videos, I had to learn how to edit videos. The learning is just astronomical, the things that I had to learn. Create a website from scratch, all of those things, video editing, how to set up my cameras, live stream, all of that. And in the middle of that, I still want to be creative. I still want to make quilts. I still want to design. I don't always want to do the business side. So, what about you? Let me know in the chat. Hello, Diane. She's from Amarillo, Texas. Welcome, welcome. I decided that I needed to be very clear about my goals personally, very clear about my goals business wise, clear about my quilting goals, the things that I wanted to learn. Because if I wasn't clear, then I would make very little progress in any area. And sometimes being clear means we have to say no. We have to say no to some things. And there are things that we want to do, right? If any of you are parents and you've had a child and you said, hey, you have a choice. It's either this or it's this. You can go play with your friends or you can do this. You said you want to be on the soccer team. You have to go to practice. Do you want to go to practice or do you want to go with your friends? You want to learn the piano? You need to practice. You're taking lessons. You can't go with your friends. So there's a choice that has to be made. So part of the things that I've been doing every year, I have a specific goal that I want to accomplish to help you ladies, while at the same time helping me, because remember, I'm a double dipper, a triple dipper. I want to incorporate several goals into one project, into one thing. Hey, Sheila, so glad that you're here. Sheila. Hi, everyone, she says. So, what was it for this year? This year, it was virtual. I wanted to become more proficient at teaching quilting virtually. In the beginning, I thought there was no way I can do it because I'm a machine quilter, free motion and ruler quilting teacher. And I love to see what you're doing as a student. And I thought, well, it's impossible. Can I really do that? Can I be fair to my students and give them a good class virtually? So I purposed this year to do virtual. And I want to show you some of the classes that some of you took. And as you see the images, because you were in the classroom, the virtual classroom, the Zoom, let me know if you remember taking these classes. And for every virtual class, I had to learn to create a completely different curriculum and a way of teaching virtually than I do in person. So that's the other thing that I had to learn. Hey, Cassie, so glad that you're here. Welcome. And RDK Patterns is here. Hello, Rachel Clark. So glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. So let's look at, I did a quick video compilation of some of those sessions from the virtuals from this year. And I'll talk about them briefly as we go through it. Okay, here I am in the corner. So this is my virtual studio and my sewing studio. This is where I'm sitting now, right in front of this. Maintaining it is another task. But this was one of the classes. This was the block party, learning to paint on fabric. We did that virtually. We had so much fun with that. We learned how we can paint backgrounds with stencils. We also learned how we can do stamping on fabric. That was an amazing virtual class that we did over the summer. And then from there, we also did some feathers. I was so glad to have a chance to work with Quilt Fest Virtual Schoolhouse. We did feathers. We talked about how to place feathers in a design. And you know, with every class, there's a handout. You get a chance to not just learn at that time, which is what I think helped my virtual classes. I pre-record most of the demo videos. That way I can play them over and over during the virtual class. This was the beginner free motion ruler class. These are examples of what you can do with a straight edge. We learned the basics of straight edge ruler quilting, and then we had a chance to stitch out step by step different designs. Then we had another virtual class, a classic Lone Star class where I shared tips on piecing, on pinning to get those perfect points. What I found is that having this overhead camera for really close-ups really matters. We did some preview for free motion quilting designs. This was a combo class where we pieced a star and then free motion quilted. And this is a favorite. This was the class I taught on the cruise. This is Sea and Sky Strata. This is another fabric painting class. We learned some amazing techniques with watercolor pencils, watercolor ink, how to shade, how to color in, excuse me, and make beautiful designs. We also did a class on a tulip. It's a pre-printed panel, which I love for free motion quilting. This was a free motion quilting class where we took a pre-printed panel and I showed you how to do some thread sketching. Free motion embroidery, thread sketching, what threads to use, what thread weights, how to add depth to your quilting. We had a fun time. And you may notice that not only did we do this on free motion, on long arm machines, we also did it on home machines. So that is not just, that's just the beginning or a preview of some of the classes. There were more. We had so much fun this year, and I learned a lot. I even took a class. When you're clear about what you want to learn and grow individually as a person, as an artist, um, any area, it could be your profession. When you become clear on that, you look for resources to help you grow in that area. So I took a professional course in June called Video Production: How to Produce Video Events Virtually for Zoom. It was amazing. I got some fantastic tips on streaming into Zoom and how to have a backup production and some other things that are all behind the scenes things. But I wanted to make sure that when I offer a virtual event, I've crossed all my T's and I've dotted all my I's. What about you, ladies? What is on your list that you want to develop? You're thinking about, it's been in the back of your mind. Are you clear that you want to reach a goal? What are you planning to do to reach that goal? Because once we're clear, now we just need to seek the resource to help us reach that. It doesn't have to be the entire project, it could be one step in that project because each step brings us closer to the goal, right? Hello, Lisa. So glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. So, Marcia says, I want a studio next year. Fantastic. Studios. I completely redid my studio for the photo shoot from Quilt Folk, and I'm so glad I did. Sometimes we need something to kind of push us to the next step. And often that's being involved in a community of quilters. It can mean a circumstance in your life. It says, yep, now it's time to clean this area up or to fix something, to change something that you've been meaning to change for a long time, or to improve by taking a class, a course, or getting involved in some kind of organization that will help you reach that goal. So what else did I want to talk to you about? I have my list, right? Here's my list. Clarity, we've talked about that. Double dipping, taking one activity and finding out if you can do multiple things that are on your list, your goals, the things that you want to accomplish, can you incorporate them into one activity? Clarity, creates confidence. Sometimes we don't jump into things because we think, well, I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. If we take the first step, that first step will build confidence in the middle of doing it. Then we can take the next step. Don't think about all 10 steps. Just think about the first step, right? Knowing what your next step is. If you have a goal for next year for quilting or sewing, let us know in the chat what's the first step you can take toward that goal. I am curious because if you offer your first step in the chat, you might encourage someone else. Remember, have you ever heard of that verse in the Bible called iron sharpens iron? Two pieces of iron, when they are next to each other, they sharpen each other, right? So when we have multiple people in the community and you see what someone else has done or they've challenged themselves to do something, you start to think, well, wait a minute, maybe I can do that. I've been meaning to learn free motion quilting or ruler quilting. And she said she was afraid, but she tried it anyway. Well, what was her first step to help her get beyond the fear? Maybe I can do that same first step. So share in the chat and let us know. What else? Okay, what else did I have here? So the virtual classes, we've talked about that. Free motion quilting, ruler quilting, fabric painting, so many opportunities there. I also purposed that I wanted to do it with a quilt show, and I did that with Virtual Schoolhouse with Quilt Fest. And then I offered my own virtual events where you can go to my website, get on the list, you look at the different virtual classes that are available, you get on the list, and then when it's available, for enrollment, then you could sign up. And that was brand new for me to do last year. I tried different methods to see what would work for you. And I'm thinking about another method where we have longer replays and we have shorter live sessions where we get to chat about it. We go over all the basics and then you go off and you work on it. You watch the videos and then we come back for a second live session to review it. So that's something I'm thinking about for 2026 because the first time we do something like a quilt, like when you're a new quilter, the first quilt you make, there are things you learn from that so that you can improve on the next quilt. So that's what I want to do with the virtual events. So if there's something specific that you are interested for virtual events, let me know. Leave a comment, send me an email, what kind of virtual events you would like. I did do 2 extended virtual events. One was at the beginning of the year, and that was over 4 or 6 weeks. I forget how many. Ladies, maybe you can remind me, but it was the Pathways quilt. Designed a quilt specifically to help you go from beginning to end on how to quilt it. I loved that class. We had a fabulous virtual time once a week, getting together, going through the steps from inspiration. How do we find inspiration for a quilt? Where do we find the patterns? Do we use what we know? Then, once we find those patterns, how do we get them in the quilt? What are the techniques that we're going to use? How do we finish the quilt? We went through the whole process. It was fantastic. Let me go over, let's see, which one did I have it here? Was it this one? Nope, it was that one. I'll wait for that. So that was the first multi-week virtual event. Remember, this is my goal for myself to develop as a teacher, but it was also to help you. We went and had a virtual event for 6 weeks for the Beautiful Sister Quilt. And I was thrilled about that. The Beautiful Sister Quilt, as you remember, was in Quilt Folk. And I wanted to celebrate that accomplishment by having a community event. It was so much fun. I loved it. And it helped me also grow as a teacher. One of the things that I started in putting together the studio, the new studio, when the photographers were coming, right? I'm cleaning up everything, getting things set. I started a new quilt, and it was to make a big quilt of the silhouette. And that is, excuse me, it's this one here, the orange one. Let's see, there we go. This is the Beautiful Sister quilt that I finished whole cloth with a new technique that I love to teach, and it's improv ruler quilting. I had so much fun quilting this. It's a new series. This is the second in the series. So next year, to continue this goal, sometimes goals are not a one and done. They happen over a series of months or years. So when you're thinking about how you want to grow in different areas, don't forget about the time frame. We're so used to things being immediate and drive through and fast and quick. You can set the pace for every goal. You can say, in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z. The Beautiful Sister series, this has gone for several years now. I'm going to quilt another whole cloth, but I'm also going to use it to help me with other techniques, right? Remember the double and triple dipping? So I can take one goal and put other goals in that same pot, right? And I know a lot of you do that. So Sandy says she wants to organize her sewing room so everything has a place to go. Fantastic. Love to hear that. So I want to share with you one of the ladies who finished her Beautiful Sister quilt. She was a brand new quilter. She wasn't sure she wanted to do the quilt together, but she did. And she sent me a photo just, I think it was end of last week. I just got it a week ago or maybe this week. I forget which one. But this is her finished quilt. This is Tova's finished quilt. She was so patient with the process, even when she faced some challenges like we all do. She just asked in the community, which is what I love about being with other quilters, is that we get to ask each other for assistance, for help, for clarity. That's why community is important, right? Look at her quilt. Isn't it beautiful? And then she made it her own. She changed the way the silhouettes are, the way the other blocks are. She added different fabrics. She combined it beautifully. Congratulations, Tova. Thank you for allowing me to share your quilt during Quilt Conversations Live. I just love that. Love it, love it, love it. So that was the second multi-week virtual event. So I had two this year, and I learned a lot from both of them. So much so that the things that I've learned are going to be applied to another multi-week event. But before I share that, let me share with you some industry accomplishments that I think are important for me personally, but I hope that it will be an example for you. I hope so. Because of my focused effort in learning how to do Quilt Conversations Live, video, recording for YouTube, recording videos for classes, I have been noticed. People watch us even when we don't think they are. We are always being watched. And so I was published in a German magazine called Patchwork Professionals. That's, praise God, it's a miracle. I'm very thankful that one, God gave me the strength to continue when the learning was so much. Some days I wanted to give up. It was just too hard. Building a website from scratch, building courses from scratch, learning all of that. But now all that effort published in a German magazine because they've seen the results, right? I'm very thankful for that opportunity. And now I'm helping others with their video editing, with their online courses, with their live streaming. And if you need that kind of help, let me know. But I'm very thankful for that opportunity. And then this was from Quilt Fest. Remember, I did the virtual schoolhouse. I did, I think, 3 of them this year: January, June, summer, and then the fall. Yes, I did 3 virtual schoolhouses, all for you ladies, and of course myself, because I love learning. This was my goal, to improve. And the best way to improve anything is when you are under pressure, under the gun. Think about those quilts you had to finish. You started the pattern, you set it aside, or if you had a deadline. Who works better with a deadline? I know I do. Sometimes I need a deadline to push me to excel. Sometimes left to my own devices, I don't do it. I take my time. I think, well, I can do it next month, next year. And then next year, all of a sudden, it's 5 years later and it's not done. Yeah, I don't want to do that. And then we talked about this earlier. Quilt folk, what a blessing, what an honor. I love that. I'm thankful for it. All the hard work, years of hard work, pays off. But it's because in the last 5 years, if you're just joining, it's because in the last 5 years, I became clear and focused on my goals. So much so, I had to say no to some things that were good. And I'm not going to tell you what those good things are, but let me tell you, they were big things in the industry that I said no to, because I was focused on building me, building my business. Too often, as women, we focus on building others. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love helping others. But in order for me to help others more, in order for us to help others more, we have to be able to offer something, right? If I'm still in the same place I was 10 years ago, how can I help? And one thing that I did realize not too long ago was that as a teacher, I had dropped the ball. And what do I mean by that? As a teacher, I dropped the ball because I had these old machines. And I love my machines. I know how to use them. I know their quirks, their ins and outs, but they were like 20 years old. And machines have changed. Oh, thank you, Marsha. Thank you. And so we have to stay up with the industry. And I was sharing things as a teacher based on old technology. And someone in the chat will say, well, wait a minute. No, the machines can do this now. The machines do that. And I'm like, really? What machine? My machine doesn't. And then it dawned on me, it's like, oh, wait a minute. My machine is like 20 years old. Machines do a lot more now. So I had to upgrade my machines as an instructor. And I'm thankful that that happened as a result of becoming a Bernina ambassador. I was able to get 2 Bernina machines and learn about some of the new features out there so that now that I can now teach better and offer you ladies more. So it's important for us to invest in ourselves. Are you investing in yourself as a mom, as a wife, as a teacher, whatever profession you are you an engineer? When I was a photographer at the LA Times, I continually invested in myself as a photographer, as a journalist. Any courses, anything that the LA Times offered in training, I took it. I took the class. When video for newspapers first came out years ago, I went to the Poynter Institute of Social Research in Florida, and they offered a whole weekend of how video is going to impact journalism. I took that. I went there and I took that. Any class that came, any seminar, anything, because I wanted to get better. I wanted to stay up to date as a photographer. So I think the same thing for quilting, right? And as a teacher, I feel that I should do that. As a quilter, not a teacher, but as an artist, I want to make better quilts. I want to enjoy the process. I want better results. And so I have to look inward and say, well, what do I need to improve my piecing? Is it another tool or is it a different machine? Maybe it's me. I'm not paying attention. I have to evaluate that myself, where the gap is, and then try and find a way to fill the gap. Right? So, what else is happening? Brand new. Now, I said I wanted to wait to share this, but it's time. It's time to share it. Virtual teaching. Remember this whole year that I've been working on virtual? I started at the end of 2024, and I pushed myself to do my first one before the year was out in 2024, preparing to do it in 2025, the whole year. The skills I learned from that are now being applied to a new event. And several of you are in it, A Day Away Mystery Quilt. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I was not getting ready. This is a phrase that says, don't get ready, be ready. So that when opportunity comes, you're not getting ready. You are already prepared. So, what are you preparing for, getting ready for? Sometimes we don't know what we're getting prepared for because the opportunity has not come yet. But when the opportunity comes and you're not ready, then you have to say no because you're not ready. You didn't take the time to learn. You didn't take the time to practice. Think about the quilts that some may ask you to make, and you think, well, I don't know how to do that kind of quilting. I have never tried it. And it's one that's been on your list and you've wanted to try. Yay, Jacqueline's looking forward to a day away. Awesome. And let's see, Ms. Thomas says that she loves new techniques to improve her work. She likes learning. Awesome. We're all hopefully perpetual learners. And if you are in the day away, unfortunately, if you're just learning about this, registration closed a week ago. So it's closed. But for those who are in, buckle up. You are going to be stretched into new territories, and you're going to do it in a community, a supportive community. If you didn't know already and you haven't been to the online community because it's a virtual event, go. We are releasing videos every single week before we begin with the first project. There are 2 mini projects happening the first week, which is January 2nd, and then the second week after that will be the second mini project. And both of those are to prepare you for making the mystery quilt. The 3 of us have been working very hard to help you grow as a quilter in skills, in cutting, in piecing, being a part of a community where we're helping and supporting. So right now, the conversation in the community is all about color. It's about choosing a palette. We have fresh videos from Latifa and Guyleen and videos from myself about your supplies. Go watch the videos. So many ladies already are saying how excited they are in the things that they've learned because it's not just going to be skills for the day away. The skills that you're going to learn are going to apply for other quilts. So the latest video that went up by Guyleen is about how to pick a palette from your stash. And I know a lot of us have a stash of fabric, scraps that are half a yard, a quarter yard, a couple yards. We have all kinds of fabric. How do we take those and create a cohesive palette? And Guyleen did a fabulous video on that. So if you are in a day away, don't miss out on these amazing videos, these tutorials this month on how to create a palette from solids, from a photograph, how to journal that experience. Latifa did a fabulous series. She took the journal and she put in the photograph that we use for inspiration for the palette that we chose for the day away. And she says, here, this is how you can do it. This is what we did. We started with this photo, then it was this step, and then it was this step. So go watch that. So I'm applying the things that I've learned, how to create videos for courses, how to create videos for virtual events, and I'm applying it to a day away. So you are benefiting from my clear, purposeful desire to get better as a teacher and to use the resources available to me to make quilting easier and fun and to do it virtually and to be able to reach more people when you do it virtually, right? So excited about that. Now, one of the biggest things that happened this year, now there are several big ones, but this is a first for me. I designed several years ago a quilting tool, but I was unsure about how to get it manufactured. I didn't know about the whole process. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I was intimidated by it, but it was on my list. I hired a graphic artist. We worked on it for months. I had the full design of it. sitting in a drawer. Then I had two teachers say to me, my partners at Triple Stitch Collective, which is the other, Triple Stitch Collective is connected to A Day Away, right? This new partnership between Guyleen, Latifa, and myself, that's another big accomplishment for me and was on my list to have a real and true collaboration. I've been sought out for other collaborations that weren't the type of collaboration I wanted for myself and for my business. So I said no to many things, which I mentioned earlier. But I said yes to Latifah and Guyleen. I said yes to Triple Stitch. It was the right thing. And because I've been getting ready, right? When the opportunity came, I was prepared to say yes. And because I said yes, they encouraged me to take that design out of the drawer and have it made. Get that tool made. They said, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, Geraldine? Get it done. How many of us need that? Do you need a friend to say, get it done? I know I do. And so I am so pleased that as a result of their encouragement, our new partnership, that I have released my first quilting tool, Stitch Line 1. Huge accomplishment for me for this year. And it is exclusive to the A Day Away mystery. So right now, it's only in the hands of those who registered for the A Day Away virtual event. If you want to get one of these tools, you'll have to wait till next year. I will release it to the public in January, which is only a few weeks away. But yes, right now, they have had it in their hands for over a month. And someone already confessed to me that she quilted a whole quilt with it already. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Yes, be purposeful, whatever your goals are. I'm sharing all this not to pat myself on the back because I can't. I'm not. I had two quilters say, Geraldine, you can do it. We'll steer you the right way. We will help you. I was clear and purposeful about my goals, and one by one, I am moving forward. I want to encourage you to do the same. That's why I'm sharing it, because I want you to look at those life goals, those yearly goals, whatever goals you have. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's finishing that quilt you started 5 years ago, and you keep looking at it every time you go in your studio and you think, oh, when am I going to finish that quilt? You can do it. You can do it. Just take the next step. Whatever it is, just take the next step. Don't look at the whole big project. Just look at the next step. Right? So, what else is happening for next year? Zoom watch party. If you were just joining and you didn't know that there are ladies in a Zoom room right now that are watching Quilt Conversations live, we meet a half hour before I go live. We chat, we reconnect. Then they watch Quilt Conversations live. And then after we're done here, we meet again. We go back into the Zoom and we chat about the conversation, about or whatever we want, or we share our projects, something that was inspired from Quilt Conversations live. We've been doing this all year. And it closes at the end of January each year for members. You can join the watch party. Membership reopened today. Just go to my website, machinequilting.live. It's right there on the homepage, and you can join the 2026 Quilt Conversations Live Watch Party, where we meet for 2 hours, half hour before Quilt Conversations Live, 1 hour for the show, and then we meet another half hour after. And then we have our private Facebook-like community on my website where we talk the rest of the time, share photos, connect, help each other, encourage each other. It's fantastic. So if you're interested, go check it out. Just go to machinequilting.live. That's coming up next year. And what else is happening next year? Road to California. Yes, the classes are almost full. 6 classes, 20 students in every class, 6 hours of concentrated time. So I created 6 revised and new classes for this show. As a teacher, again, I self-reflect. I looked and said, hey, you need to freshen up your classes. You need to offer something new and fresh. So I offer several new classes, new ideas, new stitching, new ways to look at free motion quilting and ruler quilting, and it's all going to be on a sit-down long arm. Each quilter gets their own machine, so it's 6 hours of concentrated time on a sit-down. No wonder they're almost full. I think there's a couple of them that have maybe 12 or 13 students, but it changes every day. So if you are coming to Road to California, which is their 35th anniversary, and you're thinking about taking the class, you need to come. Do you know about Road to Nebraska? No, there's a show, a quilt show there, or is that a movie or something? I'm not sure. Let me know what that is. What is that, Marcia? So next year is already filling up. It's filling up fast. Fast, fast, fast. I'm excited about all that is ahead for myself. And I have another goal. Yep. I've already decided what my goal is for next year. That has to do with you. And it has to do with the new ruler, Stitch Line 1. I'm going to work on a series of monthly videos specific to this ruler for every single month next year. So that's going to take a lot of my time and effort, but I want to do it. I'm going to upload them here to YouTube, but I'm also going to offer it in a special ruler quilting club. Yeah. So I'm just dropping that little gem to let you know what's ahead for next year. We have the mystery quilt, we have Road to California, we have the Zoom watch party membership, lots of activity happening here on Quilt Conversations Live and the Living Water Quilter, virtual events and in person. Are you coming to Road to Richmond? No, I have not applied to teach there. I have not applied to teach there. I am traveling, though, to other places throughout the year, and I'll update that on my website soon. The last thing about goals and clarity and planning, it never has to be complicated. It could be simple and straightforward, but we don't want to, in our life, I think in general, if I could say this, stagnate, stay in one place. We want to move forward. Whatever it is, whether it's work, personal, another personal thing that I desire to improve at is public speaking. So I visited several Toastmaster clubs here in my area in the beginning of the year, and then I joined one in July. I've been going to Toastmaster meetings for this year now, and I went to a district Toastmaster event. I want to improve my public speaking. So I'm doing something about it. I'm going to a place that can help me get better. And at every meeting, you have to speak. You can't be quiet. And I have purposed that every meeting I will give a speech. And often the speeches are impromptu. So that's one of my goals that I will continue next year. The other goal, I told you about the ruler quilting, the speaking goal. Speak to me, baby. You're so funny, Marcia. So that's a personal goal. What else? Did I finish this? Okay. Remember my list, right? I don't want to forget anything. Decide to focus on one thing. Just choose one thing if you're hesitant. I know this is the time of year that we all think about goals, and often people say goals are started December or January 1, and they are forgotten by the end of the month, something like that. But I don't want that to be you. If you need a community, whether it's Quilt Conversations Live or another one, or you are in a community that you enjoy, participate. Find others who are like you, who are interested in the things that you're interested in, who want to grow. Remember, iron sharpens iron. Be around like minded people who are going to help you grow. And be around people who can help you get better, who are better than you, better at speaking. That's why I'm in Toastmasters. I admire and respect Latifa and Guyleen immensely. I am so thankful to be amongst two amazing, gifted teachers. We are learning from each other. We all have individual strengths. I do not take that for granted. I'm very thankful for this opportunity with Triple Stitch Collective, for us to collectively grow together. That is purposeful. One of my other goals for the past 2 years is collaborations, but I have to be very specific and careful with who I spend my time with so that I can reach my goals, so that I don't stagnate. Warren Buffett says that. Congrats on Toastmasters. Thank you. Um, so I hopefully this is not sounding preachy. I don't want to sound that way. Instead, I want to encourage you to do what you love to do, and to be good at what you do, and to enjoy it, and to be a better version of you, whatever that means for you. And then as you learn these different things and you improve yourself, remember, it's not for ourselves. Like a tree that produces fruit, it's not for itself. It's to offer it to someone else, right? So I improve to make my classes better for you. I improve my speaking so that I'm more clear and understandable for you and not boring you to tears. I'm doing these things so that I can be better for my community, whether it's my church community, my quilting community. I started also volunteering at my church for the live streaming part of the ministry. So the skills that I've learned to help me go live, like now, I'm using these skills that I've taken years to develop, and I'm saying, okay, now that God has given me the ability to understand these things, I want to use it for my church family. So I started that also in August. Everyone, it's been a fabulous year. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Thank you for being a part of Quilt Conversations Live. Thank you for being a part of my quilting journey. Thank you for being a part of my teaching journey. For all of you who have taken my classes, who have given me your time and resources to allow me to help you, thank you. Thank you. I look forward to the coming year and all that we can do together. to help each other become the best versions of ourselves. Make many quilts, says Marcia. Yay! Ladies, I can't wait to see you if you're in the mystery. We will see each other then. The Road to California, the Quilt Conversations live watch party community. I will see you there. I can't wait for what is ahead for us. All right, ladies, I think that's it. Thank you so much. If you were here for the first time, thank you. Don't forget to click that subscribe button on YouTube, hit the notification bell, visit my website for any of the resources that might help you get clarity on what is the next step in your machine quilting journey. I offer so many opportunities for you to grow, whether it's machine setup, learning how to start and finish your quilting journey with planning your quilting out. There's so many resources on there for ruler quilting, for free motion, for designing your own fabric even. I've created several courses this year to help you grow creatively and to have fun doing it. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. See you next year. Have a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.